when everyone hears that what was discussed. They make a report on what they did during their work session. Is essentially not that some people may agree that that's good or bad, but that's how we're doing it.
May I make a suggestion that an email list be put together for the various subcommittees, and those of us interested from the public for certain areas sign up on that email list, because otherwise a meeting's held and you don't know about it. And there's a lot of us that attend for certain items, and it would be really helpful to be on that subcommittee list. I'm sure Lori would be happy to let you know if you ask her, because she sends it. That's how she communicates. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have talked. But Lori Lochelle at the administrative office, you give her email, she sends. That's how we find out. Plus, she sends us a letter. But I'm sure she could. That wouldn't cost anything.
No, not
additional.
that we get official through the mail letters for when our delegation meetings are.
Right.
Laurie will send copies of either to the subcommittee or to the full. But what we have to do is that if we're going to ask Laurie to do extra work, we got to go through she works for the commissioners, not for the delegation.
Anybody wants a subcommittee.
And so,
yeah. Just let us know.
Yeah, so what you need to do is that if you want to know and be on a mailing list for subcommittees, that you get that information to the commissioners. Because we don't really have a working website where we just can click and say and do that. But we're going, yes, sir, again.
Does the delegation feel that the communication is sufficient the way it is now?
I do. I don't know if anybody else does. Yes, Representative McConkey?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think the delegation should know, or the practice in the past has been that we try our best to and should notice the office that we're having a meeting. It's common practice for any of you older committee chairmen to know that you need to take minutes. And those minutes should be available and then distributed. How I get my information for the most part is from your site. I sit down every week when you send it to me and I watch every meeting. So, but we rely heavily on the reports that come back from our subcommittees. That was a conscious choice we made a number of years ago. And I think the committee chairman, subcommittee chairman, should make whatever effort they can to post and to carry minutes.
Yes. There
is a public perception, though, that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Now, the perception is out there. I encourage everybody to use the videotape. If the county needs to have minutes, you can easily go on the website and use the website to create minutes for the subcommittee meetings. If I'm aware of it, I will be there to videotape it. But it's very important that the county citizens see the government as connected and communicative to each other, and that they're listening. A lot of times when you have a meeting like this, it sounds like there's a big disconnect. I've noticed, and I've asked people.
And sometimes there is a disconnect. Because I do not go to the commissioners' meeting. I do not sit down and read their minutes. I don't go on your web and look at your web and watch the video of all of the meetings go on. I come in, we know what it is that we need to go through. We do it. I set up the subcommittees, so as chairman I do that, set up the subcommittees so that when we go through the budget, at least 3 people know what's going on. And that's when we get our reports. If the delegation would like to do it differently, come up with a plan and we can figure out what it is. But minutes should be available. Whether or not they are now, as what happens is that Janet takes the minutes, she sends them to Karen, I get a copy, Karen looks at them, and when they're okayed, it goes to Laurie. That's a process for our delegation minutes right now, and then once those are posted, Laurie emails them to the delegation members. Then we end up having a copy here to do that. I'm, at this moment in time, I don't have a great desire to always know what the commissioners are doing in their meetings. I'm going to find out when the budget comes and when the issues do it. If I was a commissioner, I would know what their meetings were. But, if, I'm not always, I might as well blunt, I'm not always interested in what the commissioners are doing at their meeting because I don't go there. So Representative Babson does, and that's good, so we'll get there, Love you, but I don't always want to be at everybody's meetings. Yes, Laurie, Representative Pettingill, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Perhaps the county website could just have a basic calendar that's available that people can look and have things posted on the calendar. I think that's a way we do it with, I know, our GOP site, and you can go on, you can know exactly
There are
what's
also
going on.
paid staff that does a whole
And
lot.
and then you don't not have to worry about a list. Anybody can go on and look at the calendar.
I don't know, who does our,
It doesn't have to.
Website,
yeah.
posting, Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Stephanie over there. Do you know how to make a calendar, or, and we would need to ask the commissioners if you could take the time to do a calendar if we know how to do that, because remember, we don't have working people for us other than Janet. Yes, sir.
The new website will have a calendar on it. It'll be very user-friendly, so that'll help. So at least we'll know when the meetings are. But it's the communication part, you know. I was wondering, you said you don't watch the videos, and I believe you said you were not interested in what was going on week by week? Is that what you said?
Is that what no, to tell you the truth, there are times that I'm not interested in what is going on at the commissioners' meetings. I am not a commissioner. I am a state rep, I'm a selectman. You don't care what happens at my selectmen's meeting. Should I worry that you don't love me because you don't care what happens in Moultonborough?
Well, but only speaking to the communication between everybody. There's things that go on every Wednesday that would help answer questions to what happens at the delegation meeting. That's all I'm saying about that.
That's fine. That's fine.
Extremely helpful.
Okay. I'm not. Go ahead, Representative McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one comment. I've been here almost a year now, and I've been to a lot of subcommittee meetings, and there's been a lot of subcommittees that I'm not assigned to that meet probably twice as much as the ones that I sit in on. I've seen exactly 2 sets of minutes from subcommittees. One from the sheriff's subcommittee meeting, and one from Representative Fleck's meeting on changing around the different policies. So, I don't know, how do we get these things? I'd like to see some subcommittee meetings on the nursing home and all the rest of it. We don't get them.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else from the public, Representative?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Any from the public? Yes. Yes.
In the interest of disseminating public information, I would volunteer to take minutes for Representative McCarthy and Babson's subcommittee on the jail.
That would be
Higher.
Said volunteer.
I have an interest in being
Dave,
there
you better buy a
anyway,
lunch.
if I feel right while I'm
Really?
Okay.
writing it.
But be sure that you give Laurie or Representative Babson, it might be better to give Laurie your email address.
I'm already on the list. Thank you.
Okay, that sounds fine. There, thank you. Yes, Representative Algren.
Is it okay for me to talk about the...
Yes, I'm going to close the public hearing now and for the commissioners' meeting. Thank you
Point
for
of order,
coming.
Madam Chairman?
Yes?
Just for clarification, are you going to open it up again after we discuss the budget portion and go over the remainder? And if you're going to do that, why not wait to have the jail input at the very end so people don't have to hang around while we discuss it and then come back?
What do you talk? I'm going to close the hearing for the presentation of the budget,
Right?
and we're going to continue with our delegation meeting.
I'm asking you, are we going to take up the rest of this agenda?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do.
Why don't we just move
Do it,
the jail part to the end so people don't have to sit out in the hall while we discuss it and then...
I'm not going to do the non-public till we're all through.
Oh, I thought you were.
No,
Oh,
no,
I'm sorry.
I'm not ready. I don't want them to have to go.
I misunderstood you, I thought you were.
No, I'm here. All right, there are some decisions that I would really like to make. We have been talking about the use of the old nursing home for probably ad nauseum. And I would like to be able to see if we could come up with a
So you can take
decision.
care of
1, 2, 3,
can
4,
take care of
5,
the
6,
jail.
7, 8, 9. We have a quorum. We have 9 of us, so we'll see what happens. Now, one of the things is Chris Algren would like to say something. Do you want to talk about the email that you sent me? So go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you may well know, I'm the chairman of the County Attorney and Victim Witness and the Child Advocacy Center. And one of the things that we're talking about, or at least it's coming to light through the Attorney Dewhurst, is the amount of money that people are going to be paid within the department. And one of the assistant county attorneys, I would say, was a good acquaintance of mine, over the course of time, because he lives in Wolfboro. We go to some similar committees. This attorney he's helped me actually in Concord do some work, because I put together this is on a sidetrack, a really neat bill about the appeals process for the Department of Environmental Services. So we've had a bit of a working, and he did it, obviously just for free to help me. So he's one of the county attorneys, and I just want to disclose that I have an acquaintance with him. I also have an acquaintance, of course, with Attorney Dewhurst and Sheriff Connolly. But I just felt that I should at least disclose that I know him fairly well. I wouldn't say he was a close friend. I wouldn't say we meet each other socially often, but we do get together and we do those things. So I didn't want that to be I wanted to disclose that to see if if we really felt that was a conflict of interest. How if that should. I don't think it should. Perhaps it would be, but I felt at least I should disclose it. And if people thought it would be, then I could do something else on the subcommittees.
Yes, and what Representative Algren emailed me and told me about this, and I said back to him, why don't you disclose it? We can have a discussion. One of the policies we have down in Concord, unless it's been changed, is the fact is that if you feel that you would like to disclose what it is that your relationship, like I have right now, for an example, I am a current use landowner. And whenever there is a current use, I have put on my disclosure bit that I am a current use landowner, so that everyone knows that if I'm interested in current use, it's the same as for everybody else. If we're in committee and we feel that there is a conflict of interest, we can disclose it. Then the person also can determine, the representative or the delegation member can determine if they want to recuse themselves from either voting on it or from being on a committee. Representative Scalia is a corrections officer. He has determined that he will not vote on the sheriff's committee because he feels that that would, not look all that well. So if you feel you have a conflict of interest or you want to disclose something, then everybody knows what's going on. And I have no problem with Representative Algren going. If all of us stopped being on subcommittees of people that we knew or friends, we probably wouldn't have any subcommittees. So I think that because we are a citizen legislature, disclosing is good. So would anybody else like to add to anything?
Just a comment on him. He's not a corrections, he's deputy.
I'm sorry, he's in the sheriff and he's deputy. I'm sorry. He's not correctional. Yes, Representative McConkie.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm thankful that the representative has revealed that. I raised the same question with Judge Pam Albee a number of years ago, and her response I use all the time is, we live in small towns, we wear many hats, and if we had to avoid our conversation because we all do so many jobs, we wouldn't have that opportunity. So as long as someone discloses what their activity or acquaintances are, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
I think we should move forward.
Yes. Representative Umberger, you have a thought?
I was just going to say, move on.
Move on and ditto. Okay. Now, now that we're done with that, thank you very much. We have been having a discussion about the use of the old nursing home with the delegation. I was hoping that our presentation of the budget would be a lot quicker, so of course it is not, and it's now 10 after 12. But I think that we need to decide what we want to do, make a plan so that what happens is the commissioners can get on with their life and they can do something with the nursing home. We have had a lot of discussion about whether UNH extension should come down here. I think there was a motion at your advisory committee that if you want to tell us what that was, that would be nice.
Okay. We called for a vote to follow up from 5 years ago. And the vote was all in favor except for one. One of the concerns is the cost of, the original goal to move here was to save money. And one of the concerns is the cost of all of the renovations. And one of the things we've talked about, just let me get my notes for a minute. We want to be